Hi guys, we're here today to recap Gypsy Rose Blanchard's recent trip to LA. I have notes that I will be going over with y'all. I said in a recent video, instead of doing this whole oh, this happened and that happened and this happened, and splitting it up into a bunch of different videos, I said, you know what, there's been so much nonsense. We're going to pack it all into one video and then move on with other stuff. Hopefully that works for y'all. Sound off down below. Let's start out with the fact that when she landed in LA, she, in my opinion, called TMZ ahead of time, told them what time she was going to be arriving in LA so that they would meet her at the airport. And in fact, that's what happened. She just so happened to land, and TMZ is there to interview her. Now, to me, it looked like when she landed, she was in the process of signing autographs. The little gremlin lands in LA and is signing autographs as if she is, the biggest actor in Hollywood. Who wants her autograph? Now, some of the questions that she was asked was, again, the TMZ guy asked her about the Menendez brothers, talked about how when and if they get out of prison, should they go directly into media and, do shows and interviews and stuff. And she said, oh no, they should take time off. Why do you think Gypsy Rose Blanchard would not want them immediately going into media? Because it would take the limelight off of her. It would dismiss her stage left. It would take her off of that pedestal that she's on. Because guess what? People are going to be way more interested in listening to what the Menendez brothers have to say than what Gypsy Rose has to say. So of course she doesn't want them getting out anytime soon, and God forbid, taking her little pedestal that she's standing on. Can't have that, so she recommends they take time off.
Everyone is still talking about the Menendez brothers, right? We're back and forth. They may or may not get out of prison, right? If they get out of prison, right? You have 2 books, you've got TV shows, you've got so much going on. Would you recommend those guys dive into the world of entertainment right out of prison? Right?
I would say
the world wants it. I will say that. We want it.
The world wants it, but I will say the one thing that I kind of wish I did was take the time away from the media when I first came out of prison and give myself time to adjust. I didn't do that, and I got overwhelmed by it.
Got it.
It's a lot to handle.
It's a lot to
I
handle.
would say if they ever do get released, take a break, really kind of work on yourself, get your feet on the ground, and then if that's something you want to pursue, go right ahead.
Let me ask you this. Will Hollywood embrace them?
I think Hollywood would embrace them. There's so much support on them that I have seen already.
For them. We know what they did. There's no dispute what they did, but why they did it.
Exactly.
You think Hollywood would totally embrace them?
I think that Hollywood would embrace them.
Now, the TMZ guy also asked her about relationships. Should they be pursuing relationships out of prison and all of this kind of stuff? And she goes on this little rant about you can't ignore true love, and she's all for relationships if it's with the right person. And of course, Ken is standing there and gives her a little kiss on the head as if it's their dynamic, like I said, is very, to me, it's like older brother, little sister. It's not giving 2 people that are in a really happy relationship. In that clip, which I will also be splicing these in throughout just so no one can say, oh, you misinterpreted that. She also calls Ken She also calls Ken her soulmate. I don't think that Gypsy Rose understands what a soulmate is. What Gypsy Rose did was she played favorites between 2 weirdos that were interested in her, and she picked the one that in her mind was more physically attractive and was giving her attention, And that's what she went with, and she trapped him with a baby.
Lyle was in a relationship, right? Eric, well, they were both married, actually. Lyle's relationship, I guess, ended, we're hearing reports. Do you recommend that these guys, like, maybe Lyle get in a relationship, or should these guys just focus on living their free life, so to speak? Or should they embrace being in a relationship?
I'd say embrace being in a relationship if it's with the right person. I found my soulmate 7 years ago, and that always stuck with me, and he's been my biggest supporter, and so I say if it's true love, it's true love.
Now, after moving on from talking about the Menendez brothers, the TMZ guy also asks if she would be willing to sit down with Trump to talk about prison reform, and she claims that therapy wasn't offered to her when she was in prison, even though she had been through so much trauma, don't we know? She would be willing to sit down with him. She would have a lot to say to him. Now, I know that she's trying to, be a Kardashian. We know that. She is trying to step into this role of, I got a meeting with Trump, kind of like Kim Kardashian got a meeting with Trump. I realize that there is some pressing issues that, could probably be discussed, but for me, you couldn't pay me to sit at a table with Trump and talk about the weather, something more important, like, not me. Just saying. I know I'm not invited, but I would decline the invite even if it was handed out.
Donald Trump's very, very unorthodox in the way that he does things. Are you open to meeting with him to discuss prison reform, especially for people who have been in your kind of situation? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course I would be open to it.
Would you'd sit with him?
Of course I would.
Oh, great.
I think I would have a lot to talk to him about.
What would you say to him? Like, what would be your main point, to drive home?
And we're the first ones to get
my main thing would be that there needs to be better advocacy for mental health problems while in prisons. I feel like too often the state just kind of chucks them in prison and doesn't take any...
Was there access for you, though, for mental health, like to tap for your mental health?
The access for me was they rated me on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the best, and they told me that I didn't qualify for one-on-one therapy.
No, in prison, really?
Despite my past trauma. So I think there actually needs to be more trauma therapy, more therapy for individuals instead of just chucking them in a prison and forgetting about them.
Now, I want to move on to once she actually gets out of the airport and she's, there for this press tour. Alexis Oakley is making an appearance again. And if y'all don't know who Alexis is, she is, she calls herself a celebrity makeup artist. She's worked with some people like Kris Jenner and whatever. She has called Gypsy Rose Blanchard her friend. She claims that they go way back because they've known each other for all of a year. They were both, I guess, from the same town in Missouri. So she's really been very vocal about her support of Gypsy Rose. And in my opinion, if I was in that position, I have really good clientele. I'm doing my dream job. I love doing makeup. I love making people feel beautiful. There comes a time and a place where you can choose your clientele. And if you have so much self-respect and admiration for your career, to take on someone like Gypsy Rose and not only do her makeup multiple times, but also be participating in TikToks and calling her your friend and, girlfriend this and LA girl that. I think that this is going to be a stain on who she is as a makeup artist, because now she's not a celebrity makeup artist. She is the makeup artist that decided to become extremely friendly and loud about their support about Gypsy Rose Blanchard. When Alexis does this Get Ready With Me to Go Glam Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she says how meeting Gypsy Rose was her favorite day of being a makeup artist. I'm not sure what about Gypsy Rose is so brag-worthy. Like, your best day as a makeup artist was going to meet a murderer. Very weird choice, in my opinion. But again, I think this is going to continue to stain her reputation, not only in the makeup industry and makeup world, but especially on social media. She claims how Gypsy has gone through so much trauma and she's just a girl who likes to go to Sephora. Again, this is nonsense. It's nonsense. We've dissected it before. And if Alexis's choice is to align herself so closely with Gypsy Rose, then you'll just have to see how it pans out, because I don't think it's going to be good, and it makes you look very dumb, in fact.
Get ready with me to go and glam Gypsy Rose. At this point, me and Jip go way back. We were both raised in Springfield, Missouri. You know, 417 girlies, we got to stick together. This is actually my third time glamming her now. The first time was for her first round of press for her reality show, Life After Lockup, in Los Angeles last year. The second time I actually flew to New Orleans to attend her gender reveal. I gave her a little mommy makeover, and then today we're actually doing press for season 2 of the show. That first day that I ever met her and glammed her will probably go down in history as one of my favorite days as a makeup artist ever. I took her to Sephora for her very first time, and it just reminded me that she is literally just a girl and has been through so much trauma. It's been so incredible to watch her journey on screen and off since being released. I cannot believe that she's a mom now, and I'm so excited to hear all about how that's been for her. I've been a celebrity makeup artist for almost 10 years. I've glammed everyone from Kris Jenner, Demi Lovato, Avril Lavigne, so many more, but I've never received more questions in my life about what someone is like behind the scenes other than Gypsy Rose. And I just have to say, she is so sweet and kind. I genuinely consider her like a little sister, even though she's older than me, and I can't wait to catch up with my sis today.
Now let's hop over to what Gypsy was doing. During her time in LA, she took her blood money and decided to buy tickets to the Lakers basketball game. So she and Ken go to this game, and she's filming the people behind them without their consent. Go figure. In the clip that I'll drop in, I did blur those people out because not everybody wants to be in your TikTok, especially Gypsy. They brag about her having this billboard in downtown LA. They go to the game. They try to make it look like they're having a bunch of fun. In my opinion, you know, we know that Ken's there for a purpose, right? Unfortunately, that purpose has now been extended because she locked him down with the baby. But, you know, they go to this game, whatever.
So tonight, Ken and I are going to a Lakers game. It is the Lakers versus the New Orleans Pelicans. So come along with us and we're gonna have a good time. I'm on a billboard in Los Angeles!
In LA. We just so happen to drive by it. It's crazy.
Okay, we're back in a car and we lost.
They also took the blood money and went to a really expensive restaurant in LA. I believe they went to Catch, and Gypsy wanted to put on her little influencer costume and take photos, and she took a photo of the table with the menu. I guess she really just thinks that she's out here to influence. What are you influencing, girl? Come on. Now, keeping with the theme that Alexis Oakley is platforming Gypsy and telling everybody how they are just, you know, two peas in a pod, I guess. She also went ahead and did this little segment of what's in Gypsy Rose Blanchard's makeup bag. Who'd care? Nobody would care. Nobody would care what she is putting on her face, putting in her hair, putting on her lashes. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, okay?
We have Gypsy Rose, and we are going to be going through her makeup bag.
Well, I actually don't have a makeup bag. I keep a lot of my stuff in my drawers.
Yeah. She's a vanity girl. She gets ready and does her little get ready with me.
So I actually took this from Ken, and it says Manscaped on it.
She said that she brought her makeup to LA in a Ziploc bag. I'm like, honestly, you know what? I do the same thing when I travel because the makeup gets dirty. It like destroys a bag. Walk me through your products.
I have Cali Contour,
Cute.
which is my contour palette.
This was one of my first palettes that I ever
Really?
bought. Yeah, I stole it from my mom.
This smells like roses. This one's my primer spray.
She's a Kosas girl.
Yeah, I do have a lot of Kosas as well.
I love that. Do
so-
you like clean beauty, or does this just happen to be clean beauty?
Just happens to be. So that's my bronzer. I have a highlighter. for
That
the
looks so
cheeks.
pretty.
It
Oh my
is
gosh, Revolution
really
Beauty. I've
pretty.
never used this one, but this looks so pretty.
Before self tanner, I use L'Oreal True Match.
Love.
Whenever I'm a little tanner, I use NARS. This is Orgasm X. My sister uses the same kind.
I love that you have a really nice mix of high-end and drugstore brands.
Exactly.
Honestly, I think that's the best way to do it.
Charlotte Tilbury.
So good.
It's the Airbrush Flawless. I love using
Those are
this
the
one.
best powders. I love
They
using them for under the
are.
eyes.
Elf Concealer.
Obviously. That one's such a good one.
It is. Maybelline Fit
Yes.
Me for my foundation.
My favorite drugstore foundation of all time.
Charlotte Tilbury for the brows.
Do you still struggle with your brows, or do you feel like you've gotten
It's gotten
better?
better. It's gotten
Yeah.
better. I feel like, if I stick to Charlotte Tilbury brushes, this is
Love.
not obviously all my brushes because I left a lot at home.
We're using some of the same brushes too. I was doing her makeup. She's like, "Oh my god, I have that one too."
Yes.
I'm like, I love to see
I'm
it.
happy that I'm using it for the right thing.
Yeah, you have a really great selection of products. I was curious to see like what we would be getting into, but I feel like either way, we should still go to Sephora.
Okay.
Why not?
I'm
I
up
feel
for
like
shopping.
we're always down for Sephora trip. That is actually like one of the first things we did together on our first day
Yes, I
together.
remember.
Took you to Sephora for your very first time. Have you been a lot since?
I have. Embarrassingly too much.
Let's do it.
She also then goes over to Sephora and blows more of her blood money. She spends about $300 on new makeup and is really just walking around Sephora acting like a complete know-it-all. And she's an LA girly and she knows that this is a good brand and this is like... to me, of course, I'm going to drop it in only for context, but nobody is taking makeup advice or being influenced to go buy a product because Gypsy Rose is using it.
Lead the way, girl. She's a professional now. She's about ready to do some damage. You can feel it.
I really need another moisturizer.
Last time we did the Tatcha Dewy Skin Cream.
Right.
Do you want to do that again, or do you want to try something else?
I think I'll just stick with the best, the Dewy.
Cookie's really pretty too, the one on the left.
Pretty.
That one's like one of my favorite highlighters.
I think I might get that one.
Ooh, I love how easy you are to sell out a product.
I know.
One thing about Gypsy and I is we love adding things to cart. Do you want to try some hair products?
Yeah.
Shampoo, conditioners, detanglers. What are you looking for?
Leave-in
Ooh,
conditioner.
okay. Way hair mask. You have to smell it. 'Cause smell of it is like what sold me.
It smells really good.
Right? No. I've created a monster in Sephora.
Okay.
Gypsy also got all of her hair products taken away from her at the airport.
I thought that you're supposed to put your makeup and your hair care products in your carry-on.
Instead of your checked bag.
It's so confusing.
So she got them all taken away from her as security. It's okay. We can always buy more.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm 33 years old. I'm getting a little older. Some of the matte foundations
Yeah.
just look super wrinkly on me.
Something luminous.
Yes.
The perfect match, actually. You're gonna love. It just cracks me up how I'm like, this is a great product. You're like, done.
I'm done. I trust your opinion.
I'm gonna show you primer first. Milk Makeup Primer I think is amazing. Super grippy, so your makeup is gonna like stick like glue to your face, which will be amazing because you live in really humid weather.
Yes.
She's a big Charlotte Tilbury girl. She was telling me, what are your favorite Charlotte products?
Pillow Talk, Airbrush, Flawless,
The powder.
the
Oh yeah.
mascara. I'm more nude lip girl.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
Like, I'm also like obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter, so like
Ooh, me too.
I kind of like her makeup vibe. Like,
I leave her for 3
I'm just
seconds
going
and
freestyle.
she's going rogue. She's finding new things. What did you find?
This the Pillow Talk.
Oh.
eyeshadow.
Who do you think spends the most money? You or Ken?
Oh, definitely me.
Guys, I just look over and Gypsy's throwing more things in her bag. But the damage is today, girl.
Just racking it up. I'm like a makeup hack.
Thank you so much. Slowly but surely becoming an LA girly. Next time we need to go to a workout together.
Now let's move on to more important things during this trip. They did a few interviews. They were on Entertainment Tonight, Extra TV, doing these interviews for what was supposed to be talking about season 2 of their Stupid Lifetime show. Did they talk a whole lot about the show? No. Did she overshare and talk to an insane degree about her baby? Yes. oh, we're going to keep the baby private, but we're going to give all of the baby's details and information and just have, word vomit all over the place. Anytime someone asks a question, we're just going to talk about the baby until I'm blue in the face. Even though you're supposed to be talking about your show. She said, my past has no effect on how I am with my own daughter, and then immediately goes on to say, oh, well, it does have an effect. I just want to give her everything. I want to give her everything. Gypsy was handed so many things as a child. Let us never forget that she was doing things like meeting celebrities, going to Disney, going to movies, very well known in the community. Like, Gypsy Rose was not tied up in a house and never saw the light of day. It just so happens that at a certain point in time, she was old enough to be in on the con with Dee Dee. Dee Dee was toxic to an amount where she gave Gypsy way too much. Did she do it crookedly? Absolutely. But she did give Gypsy stuff. Let's not act as if Gypsy Rose was, put away in a closet and had doctors coming over to operate on her once a week. That's just not what happened.
I feel like my past doesn't really have any effect on how I am with my own daughter. The only way it affects it is I realize like how much I want to give her, how much happiness I want to give her. Because looking back on my childhood, I realize where my mom went wrong, and with that knowledge, I'm taking it, applying it, and choosing not to follow.
Is there a specific way she went wrong, or do you mean just in
general?
In general, the story everyone knows.
Yeah, the story everyone knows, and little things that maybe people don't know, or like just kind of like decisions that she made. Like, she didn't have a baby shower, and so I chose to have a baby shower. It's just kind of like little things that are not really so significant, but it individualizes me as a mom and separates me from my mom.
A lot of times we either adopt things like our parents, we become just exactly like them, or we act in total rejection of them, like, oh, I'm not going to be that. Do you ever catch yourself doing one or the other?
Absolutely. I feel like I reject a lot of the things that my mom did and apply more things that is kind of like we work on things and decisions together whenever it comes to Aurora. So, for example, I got my ears pierced as a baby. And I asked Ken, I was like, should we get her ears pierced? So I got mine pierced as a baby. He's like, no, she can decide that when she's 13. I was like, okay.
Do you ever worry about, am I going to be a good mom? I think overall you're going to do better than what came before you.
Absolutely.
Just by showing up.
Not worry per se, but definitely whenever, like 2 weeks after I had her, the postpartum hormones definitely gave me greater insight into the emotions that I felt now having a child of my own. Everything was felt so much stronger. So I think processing that with my therapist has also helped.
There's also another clip with, I believe it's a UK reporter. I was sent this clip from one of my Instagram followers. And Gypsy is saying how the doctors operated on her because Dee Dee was very convincing. She sweet-talked the doctors. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, do you still think that people in 2025, because yes, this interview was posted on March 5th, do you think that people in 2025 are still going to believe the narrative that your mother, Dee Dee Blanchard, was over here sweet-talking doctors into a position where they were operating on a child because she was just so sweet? We're past that narrative. We know it's not true.
How did your mother get the medics to believe how sick you were in order to actually operate?
She had a very convincing personality. So a lot of times she would kind of sweet talk the doctors and appear very concerned about my health. And to the point that I don't think that anyone would question her intentions.
On her Access Hollywood interview, she admits that people online leaving comments judging her really started to affect her negatively, and she didn't like how people were judging her off of her crime. Guess what? If you don't want to be called a criminal, then don't be a criminal. If you do not want to be called an abuser, then do not abuse a disabled man into such a degree that you got him to kill your mother for you.
And in the trailer, Gypsy, you said that some have said they think that you might not be a good mom because what you've been through. Why was that something you wanted to share about on the show?
Because it was something that was affecting my mood. I'd read comments online and it was very hurtful because it's like I am being judged based on either one, my crime, or two, my past with my mom. So I felt like I'm not being given a fair shot at proving myself as a mom. People were saying that stuff when I was pregnant and I had not even done anything with my child. So I wanted to share it because it was deeply impactful for me and it was something to overcome.
If you don't want to be called a little gremlin, then don't act like a little gremlin. Okay? She also admits in one of these interviews that she gave up on her marriage to Ryan Anderson too soon. She wasn't willing to go through the twists and turns of a marriage and says that. Ryan, obviously, you know, as he would, he really honed in on that and says that, you know, Gypsy was forced into filing for divorce and it wasn't really her choice. We've heard all of that before. I think the reason that she was saying I think in that clip, the reason that she was focused on, you know, relationships aren't easy and there's bumps in the road and you got to work through it. I think she was saying that sitting next to Ken because there's trouble in paradise. And I think that she was vocalizing that not so much in the past tense, but in the present tense. Because I don't think that, I just don't think that she and Ken are in paradise. I really don't. And I haven't thought that for a while. And I think that now having a newborn, you know, a baby in the picture is causing even more stress and more issues that we just don't know about right now. And I think she was reiterating that so that he would hear it instead of her putting all of that on what had happened with Ryan. Tell me how y'all feel down below. I might be wrong on that, but that's how I kind of responded to that clip that's going around.
A marriage that didn't last. Right. What mistakes do you think that you made in your first marriage, your marriage to Ryan, that you don't want to repeat with Ken?
Honestly, I feel like judging the whole relationship on like one bad day, or a few bad days. I feel like people go through ruts, they go through challenges, and you can't just write off that relationship just because it gets hard. I felt like maybe I gave up on my marriage too soon, or I didn't really feel like I gave it everything that I had. Right. And so now with us being new parents and we have a child together, giving it everything I got is important. So yes, we do couples therapy and we're doing great.
I saw the clip of her interview where she said she gave up on her marriage too soon. Damn right she did. Damn right she did. She gave up on it way too soon. And it's like, threw it away, and it's hard to forgive her for that.
Now, when she was leaving LAX, she went ahead and called DMZ again, as usual, so that she could talk about all of the weirdos that wrote her letters in prison. So that's kind of a nothing burger. I'll throw it in here just in case y'all want to listen to it. But yeah, of course, like you're in prison, you're going to have weird people sending you letters. You dated a few of them and you married one of them. And supposedly, allegedly, I don't know if it's true yet, but supposedly she and Ken are engaged. So all those weirdos that were sending you letters, you're going to be married to two of them. But I guess they're only weird if you think they're weird. I think they're weird because they were approaching and going after Gypsy Rose Blanchard, knowing good and well who she was. They were writing to this person right here. Wow.
Okay, I gotta ask you, Luigi Mangiani, he's, one of the most famous people in jail right now behind bars, and, he has quite the fan base. I wondered, there's people writing him tons of letters. How did you handle that?
Well, it was nice to have the support, and it was nice to have the support, and I met a few friends that way, and I met Ken that way, so.
Well, do you have any cautionary tales about certain letters that you got?
There's a lot of weirdos out there too. So.
That's what I'm saying. Anything particular?
There's a lot of weirdos. A lot of people were like, "I'm gonna marry you someday."
How do you deal with that? What do you do?
What separated Ken from the rest?
Because he's very genuine, and I can tell that he wasn't trying to initiate a relationship with me. We became best friends, and then romance developed after.
How do you decide who to write back?
You just gotta read people, gotta fill it out. You gotta see who's genuine, who's just in it for clout. Generally, if they start asking, you for money or something like that, or trying to be way too close too fast, that's a red flag.
Now, she's also chopped off all of her hair, and I'm usually here for short hair. I think her haircut was not properly executed. It's giving mushroom. It's giving, forest fungi style. It's not my cup of tea, and I love short hair. I guess that she, thinks that she is just really doing the damn thing. I don't think so, but tell me how you feel about it down below.
Salon right now, and I am about to do something drastically different with my hair. As you can see, my hair is about shoulder length right now, so I think I want to go shorter. Right, so I'm in the chair right now, and we're about to start cutting, and I will show you all the results when it's done.
And of course, to round everything out, she gets back home and immediately has her baby in her TikTok, showing what a normal mom day is with her going to the grocery store. Can't do that without having the baby. Can't do that without having the baby in the pouch and talking about burping and whatever. God forbid you go grocery shopping and you don't talk about your child for once.
This is our little kangaroo pouch. We are going to the grocery store. Oh, was that a hiccup? Oh, that was a burp. Woo. And a pasito.
Thank you so much.
But either way, that's the roundup on most of the shenanigans that happened during the LA trip. A lot of hypocrisy, a lot of just repeating the same old narrative that has already been proven to be incorrect. A lot of let me be the victim and, don't let the Menendez brothers take my spotlight away from me. So anyway, I'm going to move on with my day. But for now, if you like the video, please have a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.